because, you know, he came as a spoiler, and nobody gave him any chance, that Donald Trump. He made money, okay, he inherited some wealth from his father, and turned the money around with all the towers you have all over the place. And he was something of a braggart, you know, that since he made money and whatever, that was the sole criterion with which he would judge human beings. And I think from what I've heard and what I've seen from the global news networks is that the millennial vote is dicey. The women vote, you know, he was accused of all manner of malpractice, if I can put it that way, with regards to women. So, and Clinton, Hillary wants definitely to be the first woman president in the United States. And you heard earlier in the day Angela Merkel say that, look, it would be a great thing for Hillary Clinton to be president. It's not like our own experience when President was standing next to Angela Merkel, and the question of his relationship with our own First Lady came up, and he said, you know, the typical African macho style, that she belongs in the kitchen and the other room. And I nearly fell off my chair, that you are standing before a PhD in physics, who is Chancellor of Germany, who just happens to be female. And I'm sure the women, they did not voice their frustration at how President Buhari responded. But I suspect that the American women vote will go to Hillary Clinton by and large, because people don't trust her. They say she's, and they've fallen to the trap of Donald Trump, that Hillary Clinton is a liar, she is not to be believed, that her experience is unworthy of going to be president. But the women vote, I think they will just remember before they vote that this is a chance in a lifetime to break that glass ceiling, to have a woman in the White House. It's almost similar to the question of Barack Obama, although Hillary Clinton lacks the charisma of Obama
effect.
And then, you know, Obama coined phrases, yes we can, all sort of things to catch the young, you know, adventurous people. Hillary Clinton, in my view, does not have that charismatic following. But the women, when push comes to shove, I think they would prefer Hillary Clinton going to the White House than Donald Trump.
Professor Dokubo, for Donald Trump, it's not a pushover, and he's also said it, and he was wondering who exactly he's competing against, whether it's President Barack Obama, whether it's Clinton, or some others, maybe the musicians, Beyonce, Jay-Z, and the likes. He's a great force to reckon with in the politics of America, from someone who wasn't a politician.
For me, it wasn't a great force. It was just a faulty system in the Republican primaries that allowed him to emerge. Because if people have looked at his records and all that, and the way, you know, he took things, he thought he was a Teflon candidate, that nothing will stick. And then the Republican fell for it. For me, from the beginning, if you can see him, you can see through him. That I don't think he knows anything about being a president anyway. And that he's not going to use this election to learn to become a president for the United States. It would be a disaster for the United States.
Rotary, do you believe that?
Well, yeah, I do agree that he would be.
But I think he was a great force.
Okay, well, I will agree with you on this. When he announced his candidacy in June of last year, he was given a less than 1 percentage point chance to become the Republican nominee. I thought it was a joke. A number of people thought it was a joke. But here he is. The reason why he's here today, and I have to give him some credit, is because he was able to tap into anger and frustration with a certain fringe minority on the electorate side, on the GOP base. They said that they didn't want any establishment candidate. That's why he was able to defeat a dynasty name like Jeb Bush and defeat a Ted Cruz. Senators and governors who have actually been in government and actually been governing. This reality TV star just comes out of nowhere and beats them. But the challenge is that, you know, if you divide the electorate into half, and you take half of the electorate and spread it around 16 Republican candidates, you can take an angry fringe majority and win a Republican primary. But when you join those holes back together and you now come into a general election where you now have to win more moderate, sane people that aren't as angry as them, that's where the challenges come. But for where Donald Trump has come from just in 1 year, first-time candidacy, yes, you have to give him, he's tapped into something, and so you have to give him some kind of, as bad as the candidate he is, you have to give him some kind of credit for that.
When we come back, we'll look at the media effect in all of this, because it will seem as if we're likely to, who knows, maybe tomorrow we just might see President Jay-Z, President Beyonce, but that's just the thinking of so many in the United States. That'll be after now. It was in one of the rock and roll songs asking the big question, when did reality become TV? And just for so many, it turns out that reality TV or the media has actually done one thing on this United States election. Rotary, I was going to ask you this, the media effect on this election, especially on the side of Mr. Trump.
Yeah, as you know, Mr. Trump has made it a staple of every one of his rallies to point out the media and say, look at the dishonest media, look at the biased media, they're coming after me. If you look at polls, majority of his supporters believe that the media is rigged, as he calls it, in the tank for Hillary Clinton. But if you look at the rhetoric, I mean, calling Latinos, well, illegal aliens, rapists, the things he said about women, as the professor has articulated already, the media can't help but to attack him and to highlight the bad things that he has said. So he's from New York, but he's enemies with the New York Times. He singled out certain journalists at his rallies. But the media is doing their job. I mean, they have to highlight all these things. And he's actually benefited from the media, because if you look at campaign spending, Hillary Clinton has raised about $1.3 billion